what you want, when you want it, where you want it. This is The Mesh.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 7 of the Fantasy Formula for October 19th. Does that sound right, Addison?
No, actually today's the 21st, Chad.
Thank you.
Good job, buddy.
Right,
wow.
buddy. All right.
Right off the gate. Right out of the gate, man.
Little off my game, Addison. I'll tell you why. Because we are taping this show on a Friday instead of a Tuesday, and the reason being, you can't get to the studio on time. I'm putting all the blame on you, Ad Rock. Can you give me a reason why?
Yeah, your 2 emails. I can't make it. I'm in High Point. I can't make it. I'm doing this. So I'm here.
Addison, I'm glad to see you this Friday morning.
You too, buddy.
Again, Fantasy Formula brought to you by TheMesh.tv. So glad to be here, Ad Rock. I'm the host, Chad East. You're the co-host, Ad Rock, and you tell me about your week 6. How'd it go for your fantasy teams?
I lost a heartbreaker to my boy down in Charlotte, Spencer. I'm sorry, that back. I lost to Dennis Cranford, who had one of the worst teams in the league. I'll tell you what, these bye weeks will trip you up. He put in some good. He got picked up some good players off the waiver wire. Low scoring game, but still came back and got me by 11 points.
Heartbreaker. On the side for return of the Chad, he didn't do too well either, buddy.
No, yeah, I saw that, but I'm sorry. Are you okay?
I'm okay.
Wait, you were all excited about your other 2 matchups. How'd you do?
Didn't go too well. 1 and 2. Got the win in my Raleigh league against my boy Casey Goodwin. It always feels good to beat Casey, but what felt worse though than anything is losing to Bradley Fairchild.
Wow.
Losing to Bradley Fairchild cuts like a knife.
That I can see that one. That's a jagged little pill right there, buddy.
Absolutely. So let's get off that and let's move on to week 7 at Addison, the Fantasy 45, the fastest 45 seconds in fantasy football. We're going to start off first with the Chicago Bears traveling to the Tampa Bay Bucks. Ad Rock, last week, Chicago Bears humiliated the Minnesota Vikings through the air. Cutler, 267 and 2 touchdowns. Forte on the ground with 87 yards. And Devin Hester, did you see this guy? Ran for special teams. I think it was a kickoff return touchdown and caught 91 yards for receiving touchdown.
Now, what's the update? I haven't checked the updates on what's it. He was out. I don't know if he's playing this week. I think he may be out.
Is that right? We'll have to go check our injury report. You're right. I think he is out for the week. Check your injury reports when we're going to touch base on that a little bit later. But they're traveling to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who upset the mighty Saints. Tampa Bay, Josh Freeman, great game, 303 and 2 touchdowns. Ernest Graham in a reserve coming off the bench to relieve LeGarrette Blount, 109 yards on the ground, and Aurelius Ben, the sophomore receiver, 2 years in the league, 83 yards and a touchdown. Ad Rock, Chicago goes to TB.
I'm thinking the Bears. I'm liking Cutler. Cutler actually looks like he's getting getting a little poise in the pocket. I know that sounds a little sissy, but he's got some poise in the pocket right now. Forte, what can you say? I mean, the man is just everywhere. He's catching, receiving. I think $130 total yards last week. I think that Tampa Bay's got a little energy going, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Chicago's going to roll big in this game.
Addison, I hear what you're saying there. Chicago rolling big. I don't agree they'll roll big. I think they might get the W, but what I believe is it's going to go under the total. Las Vegas set it at 43.5, a defensive battle. Chicago, Tampa Bay, under the total, 43.5. Next up, we travel to the Carolina Panthers. Addison, give me that growl. Wow, that's a good one. Washington Redskins travel to the Carolina Panthers. Carolina Panthers coming off the defeat to the Falcons. This is the game that, Addison, you and I both thought the Panthers might get a win in Atlanta. It didn't happen that way. They had an opportunity. The game tied in the first half, or I think they were down 4. Carolina was driving on the 5-yard line. Cam throws the pick in the end zone, really turned the tide in that game. Cam Newton through the air last week, 237, no touchdowns, a couple picks. John Stewart on the ground, 48 yards and a touchdown. Steve Smith, 66 receiving yards. They're playing the Washington Redskins. Last week, Skins against the Eagles. Eagles got the win in Washington. Grossman, 143 and 4 pickaroonies. 4 pickaroonies, Ad Rock. He's on the bench. Beck will be replacing him this week. Ryan Terrain, 10 carries, 22 yards, not much happening. Fred Davis, the tight end, solid day. 95 yards, 6 receptions. Ad Rock, can Carolina get it done against the Skins?
All right, I'm taking this pick just out of spite. Carolina does not get it done just because they sunk me in my pick 5 of my parlay. No, but I think Carolina's these 2 weak. I like Washington. I think Terrains will step it up this week. You got John back at the helm. I'm liking Washington in this game.
Addison, I disagree with you. I'm going to go.
Shocker.
I'm not going to pick a side here, but I really think that.
Wait, you're not going to pick a winner?
Well, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do here. The over-under is set at 43. I see a ball-controlled offense from the Skins with the new quarterback. I see a lot of Ryan Terrain on the ground. Keep the clock chugging. Chugga, 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 chugga. Meaning, we're going to, with the ball-control offense, we're going to go under the total 43. Washington, Carolina, under the total 43. Moving on, Ad Rock, we're going to the New York Jets. Jets, Jets. They host. This is the game of the weekend. Guarantee the game of the weekend against the San Diego Chargers. My Phillip Rivers traveling to the New York Jets.
Give me the hat.
Oh, the Jets coming off a very nice performance against the Dolphins. Sanchez, not very impressive, but 201 and a touchdown. I guess it's respectable. Sean Green, 21 carries, 74 yards. Santonio Holmes, 3 receptions for 63 and a touchdown. San Diego coming off the bye to New York. Addison, who you like?
I'm liking San Diego in this game. Whatever the Jets are selling, I'm not buying. I just don't like that they're not putting all the weapons together. Sanchez, he could be great 1 week, horrible 1 week. Sean Green, I think, could be the biggest first-round, second-round bust pick of the league for the last 2 years. I'm not liking the Jets right now. I think San Diego big.
Thhank goodness I get to go against you again, Ad Rock. I like the
Shocker.
Jets, and I'm going to tell you why I like the Jets. The Jets they're coming off the win on Monday night. Got a little confidence built up. Granted, it was against the lowly Miami Dolphins, but they still built up some confidence. They're playing at home against the San Diego Chargers, who they must win this week, or the Patriots would go up 3 games versus them in the division. The Jets can't afford to get down 3 games to the Patriots. So, with that being said, they must win, and they will win in an ugly, ugly game. The Jets, minus 2.5, and the parlay special, under 43.5, Ad Rock. Take it to the bank. On to the next game. We're going to Seattle as they visit the Cleveland Browns. Addison, you're excited about Seattle going to Cleveland, aren't you?
Yeah, this is another toilet bowl game, I think.
No doubt about it. Cleveland coming off the loss to the Raiders last week. Colt McCoy, 215, 2 touchdowns through the air. Montario Hardesty replaced Peyton Hillis, who went out with a hammy. Check your injury report. Hillis might be out this week. If so, put Hardesty in your lineup, even though he only went for 35 yards and on 11 carries, no touchdowns. Greg Little, 6 receptions, 72 yards, Addison. They play the Seattle Seahawks coming off the bye. Ad Rock, Seattle, Cleveland.
I'm liking the big old brown turds in this game. Kyle Bollard, Colt McCoy looked good.
Kyle Bollard.
Yeah, no, I was looking at the stats from the sheet when you said that. Man, my bust. I'm liking Colt McCoy. Hardesty's looking good. Look, Greg Little. I mean, rookie out of Carolina. How about them Heels? Heels, baby. I'm liking Cleveland's game. I don't think Seattle's got much form. Seattle's on a roll. Don't get me wrong. I mean, they are on a roll. They could be. Well, no, I was going to say a hottest team in the NFL, but no, they're not. They've got some stuff happening in Seattle. I'll say that, but I think Cleveland's more consistent. I'm liking Cleveland in this game.
Ad Rock, this is the first one we will agree on. I do like Cleveland as well. They play very well at home. Seattle's terrible on the road. Cleveland laying the 3. Vegas sets it. Cleveland minus 3, and I'm on them. Cleveland minus the 3 to get it done at home. On to the next one, Ad Rock. Houston at the Tennessee Titans. Houston last week played the Ravens. The Ravens dismantled them. Houston again playing without Mario Williams and Andre Johnson. Hopefully, they're saying Andre will be back after Houston's bye next week, the following week. So you guys keep your eyes open for Andre Johnson. I drafted him number 1 in one of my leagues, and he's really killing my team with him being on the bench. But hopefully 2 weeks from now, he's going to be back. Addison, last week, Texans lost to the Ravens, as I mentioned. Schaub through the air, 220 and a touchdown. Foster, not much happening on the ground, 49 yards only. And Jacoby Jones, replacing Andre Johnson, caught 4 balls, 76 yards, and a touchdown. They travel to the Tennessee Titans. Titans coming off the bye. Addison, Houston, Tennessee. Give it to me.
I think Houston's going to roll in this game. I don't like what's going on in Tennessee. Chris Johnson is just flopping around like a fish out of water this year. I think he's had 1 or 2 decent games, but I think Houston's got some more weapons. Even though Houston defense is a little hurt, I still think they can get the job done. I think they shut down Chris Johnson. Houston big.
No, sir, I say. Let's go Tennessee Titans. Vegas got it set at 3. Tennessee coming off the bye. Houston is reeling right now. They don't know what to do really without Andre and without their defensive presence, Mario Williams, on the end. Let's go Tennessee Titans laying the 3 at home. On to the next one, Ad Rock. They're calling this the Tebow Bowl. Tim Tebow gets his first professional, not his first professional start, but his first start of this year, coming off the bye, traveling to Miami, where they said half of the stadium will have Tebow jerseys on because, he played at Florida. Did you know that?
They're going. Oh, do you know they're going to actually honor him? It's so bad in Miami. They're going to honor the opposing team's quarterback.
It's not they're honoring the Florida Gators championship team of whenever Tebow was there. But you're right. Basically,
they're getting people in the seats. That's what they're doing. That's all they're doing.
Exactly right. So, guaranteed, half the fans in Miami will have Tebow jerseys on. Addison, last week, Miami got shellacked by the Jets. Matt Moore replaced Chad Henne. He started out really well, only 204, ended up with 204 yards, but started out fantastic. 2 drop touchdowns in the end zone. This game could have been different. Reggie Bush on the ground, 10 carries, 71 yards, but he went out with an injury. You guys check your injury report to see if he's playing. B. Marshall was a beast, 6 receptions, 109 yards, but he did drop 2 touchdowns. So anyway, Ad Rock, does Tebow get it done in Miami?
I'm on the bandwagon, man. I say he does. I like Tebow. I liked him in college. I think he brings a whole new aspect to the game. I think he's literally a game changer. You can't really defend. He reminds me of like the 1920s football quarterback player. He'll run it. He'll throw it. He's a threat every time. But he's 230 pounds. He's a tailback running at you. So I'm liking Denver, and Denver good.
Addison, I really wanted to go against you here because I think Miami has got to get a win. They said if they don't win this week, I've heard that Coach Sperano or whatever is out. They've been saying that for 4 weeks now. But you know what? I agree with you, man. I think Tebow, even though he might not look the part, look like
he gets it done.
Exactly.
He gets it done.
He just wins. So, with that being said, I was Miami minus the 3. But you know what? I'm going to take the dog. I'm going to agree with you, Ad Rock, and let's take Denver plus the 3 for Tebow to get his first win of the year against Miami. On to the next one, Ad Rock. We're going to Detroit. Detroit last week in probably the best game of the week.
Great game.
You watched it and you saw the handshake, the debacle at the end, all that stuff.
I'd have form tackled him. I'd have beat his ass right there on the field. I mean, slap me on the back like that. I mean, Harbaugh looks a little stout though. I don't know if I'd actually mess with him.
Yeah.
I'd have sucker punch him for the back or something. But that's the only way I'm taking on Harbaugh.
I like it. Detroit suffered their first loss to the hands of the 49ers. Stafford threw the air 28 for 50, threw the ball 50 times, 293 and 2 touchdowns. Javid Best, 12 carries and 37 yards on the ground, not much doing. They can't run the ball.
No.
Calvin Johnson threw the air, 7 receptions for 113 yards. Good performance by Detroit, but they couldn't get it done against the 49ers. They're playing the Falcons. Falcons beat the Panthers. Here's the numbers for the Falcons last week. Ryan, 163 and a touch. He's just not really putting up the Matt Ryan numbers that we thought he would do. Michael Turner on the ground, huge game. 27 carries for $139 and 2 touchdowns. And we called it here. Harry Douglas, we said if he was on your waiver wires, pick him up. Caught 2 balls for 57 yards. Looked pretty good. Addison, Atlanta travels to Detroit. Does Detroit get it done?
No, this has some other news, with Detroit knows they can't run the ball, and they tried to go get trade Jerome Harrison for Ronnie Brown. And our condolences to Jerome Harrison this week. I mean, that's horrible news. But, you're right. Detroit cannot run the ball, but they sure as hell can throw it. They got one of the best quarterback receiver tandems in the league right now. I'm gonna go with Detroit. I mean, I think this is a stretch. I think Atlanta has some more weapons than them, but Detroit has found a way to get it done, and I think they get it done this week.
Ad Rock, thank God. I'm going against you again, buddy.
Shocker.
This is another double parlay special of the week. Atlanta on turf, which that's what Detroit plays on, is phenomenal. They play great on turf. Even though it's on the road, they play great on the inside the dome. That's what they're going to do at Ford Field. The number is set at 3.5. Detroit's a 3.5 point favorite. Let's take Atlanta plus the 3.5 and in a shootout over the total, 47.5.
I like
a lot of points here.
A
lot of points here. On to the next, Ad Rock. Kansas City traveling to Oakland. Kansas City coming off the bye from last week. Travels to Oakland. Oakland held off the Browns 24-17. Kyle Bowler in replacement of Jason Campbell. Big news here for the Raiders. You guys have all heard it. Jason Campbell out with a collarbone. Kyle Bowler replaced him. Not too impressive. They immediately go out and sign Carson Palmer. Yes.
Who do you play for?
The Cincinnati Bengals. Your Cincinnati Bengals, Ad Rock, is now he's an Oakland Raider. And actually, what do you think? You think he'll fit in good there?
No.
You don't?
No. Look, he's got some weapons. He's worked all week. I think it's going to be a debacle this week. Look, the last couple times in Cincinnati, I just didn't think Carson, he looked rusty. I mean, he was overthrowing receivers. We went and watched him play Carolina last year. Dude, he couldn't get within the ball within 10 yards of receiver. And you know what? Much didn't improve. He had one 400-yard game throughout the year. About that, he was only putting up like 220, 250 throughout the year. I don't see what's changed unless he was that unhappy in Cincinnati, which, hell, he could have been. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think he gets it done this week.
I hear you, Ed. So you're on KC.
I'm on KC this week. Believe it or not, I think there could be a Matt Castle sighting again. The boy did throw 4 touchdowns of the week. They're coming off bye, if I'm not mistaken. I'm liking KC this week. I think they have time to get their heads together, and there's a lot going on in Oakland, so I like KC right now.
I kind of dig that pick too, Ed. But what I dig better, Vegas set the line at 42. Here's what I think. I think Matt Castle's playing better ball. I know we picked on him a lot at the beginning of the year, especially because you picked him in the 5th round. But he is playing a lot better ball. I think they're going to put up some points. And I'm not saying Carson Palmer is going to have a great day by any means. I think he'll struggle. But I think Darren McFadden will have a field day against the Chiefs D. Vegas set that number at 42. Let's go over the total 42, Kansas City, Oakland. On to the next one, Ad Rock. Pittsburgh travels to Arizona. Last week, Pittsburgh got it done. Remind me who they played, Ad Rock. Oh, they hosted Jacksonville last week, and they held on to a 17-13 week win. Roethlisberger through the air, 200 yards and a touch. Mendenhall, monster, 146 on the ground and a touchdown. Mike Wallace through the air gets it done, 76 yards and a touchdown as well. They travel to the Arizona Cardinals. Addison, Pittsburgh, Arizona, coming off the bye. Who you like?
I'm liking Arizona in this matchup. The reason being, I think Maurice Jones-Drew they knew Maurice Jones-Drew was Jacksonville's only option on offense. And he still put up 96 yards on supposedly one of the best run defenses. You know what? I see Beanie Wells going crazy against up the middle because I think he's more of a bruiser back. He's going to get around the corner. I don't see anybody stopping him. Kevin Cobb could throw the deep ball. Pittsburgh's secondary has been a little suspect. They've been playing good of late. But I still think Arizona's going to get them by about 7 this week. I really do.
Wow. I don't know if they get it done by 7, Ad Rock, but everything you said I agree with. I hate saying that too, but Pittsburgh travels to Arizona. Arizona, only 1 win on the season, backs against the wall. I like it. Troy Polamalu might be out for Pittsburgh as well. Yep. The line is set as Pittsburgh Steelers going on the road as a 3.5-point favorite. In an upset special of the week, I like the Arizona Cardinals to upset the Pittsburgh Steelers by a field goal.
Listen to Addison, Chad. Listen to Addison.
Arizona gets it done. All right, my friend, on to the next one. The St. Louis Rams traveled to the Dallas Cowboys. Last week, St. Louis, I believe, got shell-shocked. Yes, they did. They played the Packers and only put up 3 points.
Yes, they did.
Bradford threw the ball 45 times, 29 completions for 328.
Still only put up
3 points. Unbelievable. Steven Jackson on the ground, 18 carries for 96. And the wide receiver on the end there, Alexander, 6 receptions for 91 yards. They travel to the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas put up one heck of a fight against the Patriots. Everybody thought it would be a shootout. It was more of a defensive stand between the two teams. Cowboys last week, Romo, 317 through the air and a touch. DeMarco Murray on the ground in replacement of Felix Jones, who went out, I think it was with an ankle.
I like Murray, dude. He ran the ball well.
I completely agree. If he's on your waiver wire, guys, go grab him because Jones is out 2 to 4 weeks. Keep your eye on that. Dez Bryant, again, shows up in the first half, looks like a stud, 4 receptions, 78 yards, and then he disappears. He just disappears. I think the dude's a head case. I don't know what's going on with him. Did you see him at the end of the game yelling at his whole team? I mean, come on, guy. Get your head together.
Why does Dallas always get those receivers?
It's so weird. I know.
Let's see. It was you had
T.O.,
then you had before Michael Irvin. Yeah, I mean, they're good with great receivers, yes.
Divas.
I mean, why is it always, is it a prototype? Is somebody set a standard down there that they got to be or I don't know.
Big egos and Big D, I think. St. Louis travels to Dallas. Ad Rock. St. Louis needs a win badly. They haven't won yet. Did they get it done?
No, they don't get it done this week. I think Dallas is clicking all cylinders offensively. I like Romo. Romo's getting it done. He's putting up some decent numbers. Murray, and I mean, even with Tashard Choice, Dallas run the game in the last week or two. It actually looked halfway decent. I'm kind of shocked about that. You got Miles Austin back. Des Bryant still good. Jason Witten, enough said about that. St. Louis has got nothing on Dallas this week. Nothing at all.
Enough said. I concur. Dallas lays the 9.5 and gets it done in Big D. Ad Rock, we move to Minnesota, where the Minnesota Vikings host the world champions Green Bay Packers. Green Bay, as we mentioned just a minute ago, defeated the Rams. Rodgers through the air, 316 and 3 touchdowns. Basically, all in the first half. I mean, they just came out of the box, put 24 on them, and I don't think they scored in the second half. James Starks on the ground. It looks like he's solidly now replaced Ryan Grant. He got 13 carries, but look for this week for him to get about 15 to 18, replacing Ryan Grant. 49 yards on the ground there. And Jordy Nelson does it again. He normally catches one big ball. He caught 2 this time for 104 and a touchdown. They traveled to Minnesota. Minnesota finally got the win last week. Actually, I'm sorry.
Christian Ponder.
That's right. They got destroyed. My bad. McNabb on the bench. Ponder replaces him.
Who looked good, by the way. I mean, he come in off the bench. First, I think he went 7 for 9, if I'm not mistaken. If you got some stat, I don't have it in front of me. 7 for 9, looked good in the pocket, scrambled. Now, I think Clay Matthews is going to eat this kid up, but I think we see some good stuff out of him. He's ready to be let out of the box, but Green Bay's D is Green Bay's D. They're going to eat this rookie up, but I still think we see some flashes of brilliance from Christian Ponder this week.
Addison, I'm not going to say flashes of brilliance. I agree, though, with you. The move had to be made. McNabb he's a shell of himself. They got to make the move to the rookie, and they're making the right decision. However, his first game against the Green Bay Packers.
Green Bay's going to win. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, I think there's going to be some. He's going to show staying in the pocket, stuff like that, moving around, stepping up in the pocket, not freaking out and running. That's what rookies do, rely on their feet. He's going to stay in the pocket, make the pass, throw the ball away. He's a smart quarterback. I mean,
he is a smart quarterback. I agree with you. Green Bay will win this game. However, I think it will be a low-scoring game, maybe 24-7. That's why this guy's going under the total, 46.5. That's under the total, Green Bay, Minnesota. On to the next one, Ad Rock. Indy travels to New Orleans. New Orleans coming off the loss to the Bucks through the air, 29 for 45, 383, and a touchdown for Breeze. Mark Ingram had a nice little touchdown run, only 22 yards, but a great little touchdown run. And Jimmy Graham, the tight end, another 100-yard game performance.
He's the one that. How do you account for a tight end putting up 22 fantasy points?
22. Wow.
Yeah.
I think he's been the best tight end in the
so
league.
far. Oh, absolutely. Tony Gonzalez came out of the gate, guns blazing. He's kind of stepped down, but yeah, Jimmy Graham's picked up slack. He is a monster right now.
Those Saints playing at home against the Colts. This game at the beginning of the year with Peyton would have been a shootout. Everybody would have been looking forward to the Indianapolis-New Orleans game. But with your man Curtis Painter, I don't think anybody's really looking forward to this.
Hey, you got to give Painter's props, man. He's actually put up some decent numbers. I mean, nothing to rave over, but I mean, he stepped into the biggest, probably the greatest quarterback shoes of all time. He's done halfway decent. I mean, they're
0-6, buddy. They're 0-6.
Okay, that's right. Hey, Kerry Collins is responsible for a couple of those.
No doubt. Last week, Colts, Curtis Painter, Addison's favorite quarterback, Curtis Painter, 188 and a touchdown. Delone Carter on the ground, 45 yards, no touchdowns. And Reggie Wayne, 5 receptions for 58. Vegas got that number set as Indianapolis as a 14-point dog against New Orleans. What do you think happens?
I think they cover all 14 plus some. It's gonna be bad. I don't see any way Indianapolis can. Even though Indianapolis is a turf team, I don't see their defense controlling New Orleans. New Orleans has too many weapons.
I concur. However, what I'm going to do instead of taking a side, I'm going to take the over the total 48. Vegas set it at 48. The New Orleans Saints will score at will against the Indies D, and I think Painter's going to go for 2 touchdowns.
You're such a wussy. Pick a team.
I see Pierre Garçon, catching a couple. We're going to talk about Pierre in our optimal fantasy lineup of the week. But anyway, we're going over the total 48. Indianapolis, New Orleans. Last but not least, Ad Rock, on the Monday night special, we got a doozy. Baltimore against Jacksonville. Oh, I can't wait to this Monday night classic. Jacksonville 1-5 travels our host Baltimore last week for Jacksonville. MJD on the ground. He's their only offensive weapon. Runs for 96 yards against Pittsburgh's D. Blaine Gabbert, your second favorite quarterback, Ad Rock, throws for 109 and a touchdown. And Mike Thomas on the end, 36 yards. Did you see Mike Sims Walker re-sign with Jacksonville this week? Did you see that?
I don't quite understand that. I don't know what.
Makes no sense to me either, buddy.
I don't get it.
Baltimore Ravens host the lowly Jacksonville Jaguars. Ad-Rock, what happens on Monday Night Football?
I think your boy Mercedes Lewis scores, and he is your boy because I want to let everybody know what on Wednesday Chad picks up Mercedes, or Thursday picks up Mercedes Lewis, and on Friday he drops him. How is that actually possible? So you thought, oh, there could be Mercedes Lewis sighting, and then no. I think Jacksonville gets just gets beaten by Baltimore right now. Ray Rice is looking good. The receiving core of Baltimore, there's a lot of fancy points there. Flacco's halfway decent. I mean, I know some people are starting this league, but he's all right. I mean, he's nothing to rave over. He can put you 15 up, but he also can go out there and put up 35. I'm liking Baltimore in this game to cover the spread. And you know what? I think it's going to go under the total, but I think I'm liking Baltimore.
Thanks, Addison. Before we get off this game, let's get back to the Mercedes Lewis comment. Yes, I did pick him up on the waiver wire. However, he never touched the field because a guy like Mercedes Lewis is not going to make my fantasy team. He got cut immediately. We gave him a tryout. He didn't have the right stuff, so we cut him.
I was in your head.
Back to the game.
I was in your head, Chad. That's what it was.
Back to the game. Baltimore against Jacksonville. Yeah, I concur. Baltimore's got too much for Jacksonville, even though Jacksonville playing at home. Trying to get a W is just not going to happen against Baltimore's D. Baltimore laying the 9.5 on the road. They get it done in Jacksonville.
We'll get back to your show in a moment. Just a reminder, you're listening to The Mesh, an online media network of shows and programs ranging from business to arts, sports to entertainment, music to community. All programs are available on the website as well as through iTunes and YouTube. Find out more at themesh.tv and give us feedback on what you like. And now, as promised, back to your show.
Addison, Fantasy 45, that's a wrap. Let's move on to the Optimal Fantasy Lineup of the Week. Ad-Rock, last week, I'm going to hit you with it. You tell me what you think. Coming off two pretty good weeks. Oh, I'm sorry, one good week.
Yeah,
we had a B- the week before.
How are we going to do this week?
We're going to have an A this week, Ad-Rock. Before we hit the A lineup for week 7, let's hit the review of last week.
Let's do it.
We had Eli. I picked Eli as the quarterback.
385.
Yeah, 3+. No touchdowns. However, solid.
No,
performance.
292 in the yard.
Okay.
And he could have had some more touchdowns. I mean, Mom Bradshaw got the carries into the end zone. Eli, I mean, they let him throw it. He just couldn't hit. He couldn't hit the tight end or Manningham. He would have put up some hellacious. Been over 300 yards and about 3 touches.
I'd say solid performance.
Oh, yeah,
sure.
solid performance from a quarterback, yes.
Running backs, we went Ray Rice, who had 100 yards, very nice, and Matt Forte for the Bears. What Forte
130 yards total, 80 on the ground, 80 some chains on the ground, 37 some chains in the air. Solid.
Not bad.
Solid.
We move on to the wide receivers. This is where it gets a little shady here. Roddy White, Atlanta Falcon pick. I think he might have caught 1 or 2 balls.
He had a temper tantrum on the field. I don't know what happened, but coach was in his ear. Didn't do much. Got a unsportsmanlike conduct penalty late, like a chop block. I think he tried to roll up on somebody's leg. Dude, I mean, he was not a good pick this week.
So far, Roddy's kind of been a bust this year.
I agree
All
with
the
you.
people that drafted Roddy first or second round are a little upset with him. We had Steve Smith for the Panthers, 66 yards, not too bad. Jermichael Finley as the tight end, caught a couple balls, no touchdowns, not too good there. Jeremy Maclin as our flex, wow, 101 yards, great day.
Good.
Cincinnati's D, pretty respectable against Indy.
I think they ended up putting 16 points up in our league. That's great for a D. I mean, Cincinnati's the number 1 overall ranked defense in the league. I like them right now. I want to thank whoever either on bye this week. I went and snagged them off the waiver wire before I came in here to take the show. So appreciate that.
Yeah, way to go, Ad. And the kicker, Jason Hanson, 2 field goals. So all in all, not bad. Where we really struggled was with the wide receivers, Roddy and Steve Smith not having their typical good days. But this is a solid B. I give us a B.
I'll give solid B too. I mean, your receiver picks were a little weak, but that's okay.
Thank you, Ad Rock. Last week a B. Let's make it an A this week, Ad. Here we go. Quarterback. I'm gonna let you go quarterback, Ad Rock. Give it to me right here.
All right, I'm gonna go Tony Romo this week. I'm liking Dallas this week. He's got all his weapons back. We haven't picked Romo so far this year, but I'm liking Tony Romo this week against with their matchup.
Bingo. I like Romo as well against the St. Louis Rams. Running back 1, we're going Steven Jackson. Steven Jackson for the St. Louis Rams, traveling to Dallas. All that St. Louis really has offensively is Steven Jackson. Bradford's a little banged up. I think he's going to get a boatload of carries, and he'll be able to run against the Dallas D. Running back 2, this is a sleeper. We're going Ryan Terrain. Ryan Terrain of the Washington Redskins traveling to Carolina. Carolina's defense, one of the worst in the league. I think Ryan Terrain is going to get a boatload of carries as John Beck, the quarterback replacing Rex Grossman, is going to get his first start. Look for Ryan Terrain and Steven Jackson to be solid picks, running back 1 and 2. Ad-Rock, wide receiver.
On the receiver side, we're going to go Brandon Marshall. Brandon Marshall had a good game. He dropped some balls, but still put up some big numbers. I really do like his matchup this week. WR2, Pierre Wee Garcon, I think will have a great week this week. I mean, they're not being on the weapons they're throwing to him there. So I'm liking him. He's going after the balls. He's making the catches. Pierre Garcon, big week.
Thank you, Ad. Next up, I'm going to hit the tight end. We're going to go Dustin Keller from the New York Jets. The Jets hosting San Diego. San Diego does not, when they play defense, they don't defend the tight end very well. So I think Dustin Keller will have a monster day. Tight end, optimal fantasy lineup of the week. Dustin Keller. Ad-Rock, hit me flex.
All right, we'll go back to flex, even though you got to have yourself on tight end pick there, but I'll take care of it. Mendenhall. Now you're like, Mendenhall's RB1. But no, look, you've had Redmond come in. Who's the other clown up there right now? Redmond, who else? Who's the other guy there? Anyway, there's another run back they brought off the bench. Some sorry scrub, I don't know. But look, Mendenhall is working his way back into Tier 1 status. So this makes him a flex this week. He ran good last week. He's getting his job back, but until he proves a back week, he's going to stay in the flex position.
That other running back you were talking about was Jonathan Dwyer, and yeah, he's back. He's relegated back to the bench because Mendenhall's healthy.
He's on the practice squad. He's a scrub.
Not a bad pick there. All right, bro, we're going to move on to the defense. This is a no-brainer. We're going to hit the Baltimore D, playing Monday night at Jacksonville. Jacksonville's offense is just pitiful. Baltimore's defense, one of the best in the league. Let's take Baltimore's D. Ad-Rock, kicker.
My Baronis. You like that one, didn't you? That was
Very
pretty
nice.
good.
Oh, your voice is
Rob
beautiful.
Baronis out of Tennessee. Boy's got a leg on him. He's got some age, but I think he's good. I think he'll get 9 to 12 points this week. I'm seeing a lot out of him this week.
Right on. That wraps up, my friend, the optimal fantasy lineup of the week. And real quick, we're going to hit you with the buys. Last week, 6 teams were on buys. This week, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are on as well. We start with the Buffalo Bills, Addison's Cincinnati Bengals, the New England Patriots, the New York Giants, Philadelphia Eagles, and San Francisco 49ers. Ad-Rock, think about the quarterbacks that are on bye this week. Vic, Eli, Brady, and Fitzpatrick. That's 4 stud quarterbacks on bye. Hope y'all got some good backups because you're going to need them.
Yep.
Addison, moving on real quick. We're going to hit waiver wire and injury report. Not too much happening. The big acquisition, obviously we mentioned it before, the Oakland Raiders pick up Carson Palmer. He's been selected in all 3 of my leagues. He was the number 1 waiver request pickup of the week.
Yep.
So you guys, if Carson's out there,
100% owned in I think most ESPN leagues. If I look this morning, check that stat.
Wow,
I think he's already been picked up. That was kind of scary.
that's unbelievable. So that was the big pickup. A couple other things just to keep your eyes open for. T.O. There's been a T.O. sighting.
I haven't heard this.
Yeah, T.O. He held an audition. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think the Bengals.
Oh.
Yeah, I think that he's going to he might go back to the Bengals or maybe the Titans. It was either Bengals or the Titans going back to Cincy or going to Tennessee.
You need to have this before we get off the air so I can rant or not rant.
We will do it. We will do it. Does T.O. have anything left?
No,
I don't think so.
Look, he's 38. So 3 knee surgeries.
Yeah.
Look, he's going to go down. He's going to go down guns blazing for his own personal gain, and try to get a couple more endorsement deals. Try to revive his reality show. I'm about to bang my head against his microphone if it's the Bengals. Please tell me that's not true.
It's not true. I was just kidding you. I just want to see what you wanted to do. It was basically the Titans, but I wanted to throw the Bengals in there just to get you fired up. Mission accomplished. All right, a couple other things I just wanted to point out. Antonio Gates, he tried to practice early in the week. They thought he was going to be able to play.
Just cut the toe off. I mean, it gives us just cut it off.
He didn't practice yesterday. They're hoping he's going to come back and practice today. I don't know what's happening with Antonio Gates.
He could have, if they'd have cut the toe off, he could have played already by now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a toe, isn't it? Is it toe again or is it ankle?
It's a toe.
cut it off. I mean, it happened last year. I mean, put a little wood nub or something. He'll be fine.
I think you need your toe.
I
I wouldn't suggest cutting it off, but anyway, I feel you. Dallas Cowboys, DeMarco Murray and Tashard Choice. We mentioned it earlier. Felix Jones out for 2 to 4. So look for DeMarco Murray and Tashard Choice to get kind of, it's going to be running back by committee. I see Murray kind of getting more of the carries. And one other little tidbit of info before we move on. C.J. Spiller, all right? Everybody drafted him. They thought he might be a sleeper pick. This would be his breakout year. He's done nothing.
There's something sleeping about him, that's for sure.
Exactly. But they're moving him now with Fred Jackson just being the stud he is this year. They're moving C.J. Spiller out as a wide receiver. So look for him in the slot. Look for him all over the field to get the ball more. If he's out on your waiver wire where he might be a good fill-in for the buys because he might get you 4 or 5 receptions and a couple catches out of the backfield and a couple runs. So, ladies and gentlemen, look for that sleeper C.J. Spiller. All right, my friend, Ad Rock. That wraps it up. What we're going to do, we're going to move on to the team of the week. Okay, we're going to highlight a team of the week. We're a little different format. We're not going to trade or not to trade because it's a Friday. You know, we're ready to go on to the ball.
I had my whole spiel about my waiver wire. You gonna cut me out? You taking over the show?
Oh, give me a couple waiver wires.
Good Lord. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what happens. This is what I have to put up with week to week. I mean, look, actually, I want to this waiver wire. I'm not picking out any particular people on waiver wire this week because right now with bye weeks, it's an absolute cluster. So I'm gonna make some suggestions to you. One. Think about the dumbest people in your league, and as you know, when they're going to drop some people, like Chad dropping Mercedes Lewis. There are going to be those steals out there on the waiver wire that you can actually pick up. Prime example, I mean, Cincinnati's on bye; they have no more defense. Some people are going to drop and make room for some other opponents. This is a week you can actually snag some players that will help you for your playoff push. So my suggestion is check your waiver wires to Friday, Saturday, and definitely Sunday morning. Because people are going to make some last-minute rash decisions, dropping some people. Everybody will be on free agency. You'll be able to snag some people off the waiver wire to help your playoff push. This week, it's a cluster. You got people buying, people coming, people going. Just look. We're about a third, halfway through the season already almost. You're going to know who's going to be performing, who's not going to be performing. But with all the bye weeks this week, just look, people, look. They're going to be those dumbasses in your league. They're going to drop a flex 1 or flex 2. They're going to put up 10, 12 points. Snag them off their bye. If they're on bye, snag them. Snag them quick. All right, Chad, that's my rant for this week.
Oh, my gosh. Ladies and gentlemen, if you understood that, congratulations, because I didn't understand a word he said. Moving forward, Addison, are you sure you're done? Thank God. Okay, let's go highlight the team of the week. Ad Rock, we're going down to Little Old Hickory, and we're going to grab the number 1 team in Jay Get Off the Mic League.
How is he number 1?
It is your man from Georgia, Kirk Whitfield, the perennial loser, the perennial doormat, typically everybody's stepping stone.
The 6'5" albino.
Everybody's bye week candidate, typically. This year, this dude is 5-1, Ad. He's 5-1. I'm going to hit you with his team. You tell me what you think. His quarterback, QB1, Matt Ryan. RB1, Ray Rice. RB2, Steven Jackson. RB3, Fred Jackson. I mean, loaded at running back, right? Now let's hit the wide receivers. Wide receiver, Jeremy Maclin. Wide receiver, A.J. Green. Wide receiver, Reggie Wayne.
Were we drunk? Just let him do this?
Tight end, Jermichael Finley. Defense, Texans kicker Jason Hanson. Check this out. Here's his bench. On the bench, well, bench kind of stinks. Michael Jenkins, Doug Baldwin, Jason Snelling, and Mark Sanchez. Okay, the bench is terrible, but his starting lineup.
Yeah, his starting lineup's pretty stout. Besides, Steven Jackson. I hate to say, that's the missing link in that lineup. But still, that's I hate giving Kurt props. I do. I hate it. Like I'd rather pull my teeth than give him props. But he is putting up some points in our league. Every week, and I just say there's a freight train going through it. It's Kurt's team for some reason. I don't know how.
Kirk, here's to you, buddy. I think this is definitely a playoff team and potentially a Super Bowl team. However, Addison, Kirk normally messes things up.
Somehow,
some way, he will mess this up. Probably
he's on medication, so he may not this year. So we'll see.
Kirk, good draft, buddy. I hope you make it to the playoffs, and I hope you lose to me in the Super Bowl, buddy. All right, Ad Rock. With that being said, This wraps up the fantasy formula brought to you by themesh.tv. Week 7. Can't wait for week 8. Ad-Rock, what's going on this weekend with you?
I'm going to be over at Jay's house watching some more games. I love going over there and eating all his food and smacking his kids around. It's fantastic.
Addison. All right, my friend. Well, with that being said, I hope to see you over at Jay Caldwell's. And to our listening audience, thank you for joining us, and we'll look forward to seeing you next week. We out.
Who day, baby?
Peace.
You've been listening to The Mesh, an online media network of shows and programs ranging from business to arts, sports to entertainment, music to community. All programs are available on the website as well as through iTunes and YouTube. Check us out online at themesh.tv. Discover other network shows and give us feedback on what you just heard.